In the 1960s, Alan Burkhart opened a riverfront restaurant in Beaumont, Texas, and for the next 50-plus years, his customers would eat burgers, drink beers, and on super hot days, they would jump off the pier into the river to cool down. One day, in June of 2015, while Alan was in his restaurant looking out the back window, he saw something strange in the river. Alan immediately yelled out to everyone to not go swimming, obviously based on what they were seeing. And then he went back inside and made a sign that said, "No swimming," and he posted it on the pier. A few weeks later, on July 2nd, a 28-year-old local man named Tommy Woodward and his girlfriend, Victoria LeBlanc, arrived at Alan's restaurant for a fun night out. After several hours of drinking and playing pool, Tommy and his girlfriend made their way over to the bar and had a seat. At which point, Tommy began telling his girlfriend that he planned on going swimming in the river that night. The bartender overheard him and said, "Tommy, you can't go swimming in the river anymore." But Tommy was a bit of a rule breaker and said he didn't care. He was going to go anyways. Tommy stood up. He grabbed his girlfriend's hand, left the restaurant, and began walking down towards the pier. When Tommy and Victoria got down to the pier, the black water was quiet and calm. As Tommy took off his shirt and removed his valuables from his pockets. Right before Tommy was about to jump into the water, Victoria stopped him and said she thought she saw something moving underneath the pier. But Tommy just laughed and said he didn't care and jumped into the water and disappeared below the surface. Immediately, the water around Tommy seemed to erupt like a bomb had gone off underneath him. When Tommy came back up to the surface, he was screaming and trying to swim back to the pier, but before he could get there, something pulled him under the water. And then, a few seconds later, Tommy came back up again, and this time, Victoria could see the left side of his also was bleeding profusely, and so she instinctively leapt into the water to try to save him. And Tommy, even though he knew he needed help, he said to her, "Get back on land, save yourself." And so she obliged. She climbed back onto the pier, and when she turned around, she caught a final glimpse of Tommy as he was pulled back under the water. And this time, he did not come back up again. The bartender had heard screaming and so ran down with a flashlight to the pier. She raises her flashlight and she begins scanning the now totally calm black water. And as she's scanning, she finds him floating face down way off in the middle of the river. And as soon as the flashlight hits him, something pulls his body under the water and he disappears from view. It was no secret that the river that ran next to Alan's restaurant was home to alligators. But these alligators were small, and they didn't bother anybody, and so the locals really didn't have any issues swimming with them. But on that day, in June of 2015, when Alan and the other guests saw this thing out in the river, what they were seeing was a monster alligator, likes of which they had never seen before in this river. It was at least 11 feet long and over 400 pounds. And that summer, it decided to make the underside of Alan's. Here, its home. And so that night, when Tommy leapt into the water, it was this monster alligator's feeding time. And so Tommy became its dinner. Tommy became the first alligator-related fatality in Texas in nearly 200 years.